Hello and welcome to my craft channel Susie Makes. I will be taking you through a series of craft videos showing you step-by-step instructions at beginner level, and with each series of videos there will be a completed item at the end of them. Now this is the fourth video in the crochet series, which will take you through the basics of crochet with a view to completing a granny square like this one. Now the first three videos we saw how to make a starting loop. We then saw how to make a crochet chain. We did 5 chains, and then we saw how to join those 5 chains into a ring using a crochet slip stitch, and this is our ring. And we will be working into the center of this ring, and these are the chains around the edge. So the next stitch you need to learn to make in your granny square is the treble crochet treble stitch. All terms are in UK terms. Now in order to start this off, we do what I call a pretend treble stitch, because you need to raise your work up a level in order for it to grow. So at the beginning of each row you will always do a pretend treble, then followed by the crochet treble stitch the rest of the way round. So your very first pretend treble is just 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. And there you have your first pretend treble, and that is to give you the height you need in order to work the next round. Now I'll show you how to do a treble crochet. You put your yarn around the hook first before you do anything else, so it looks like you've got 2 stitches on the hook now. Then you put your hook into the center of the chain. While I'm doing this, I will be holding the tail behind it so that it is crocheted in. It saves you sewing it up at the end. So through the center of the ring with your hook, yarn over hook again and pull through. So you now have 3 stitches on your hook. Now once you've got as many as you need, so 3 stitches for a treble crochet, you then need to start reducing it back down to the single chain on your hook. So to do that, you put your yarn around the hook and take it through the first 2 stitches on your hook, which will leave you with 2, and then once again yarn round the hook, take it through the last 2 stitches, and you're back to the beginning with a single loop on your hook. Now you can see I'm using a bigger crochet hook than I would normally for this, just to try and make it clearer on video. So this will look a bit loose. So you see now you have 2 trebles. You've got your first one, which was the 3 chains, which is a pretend treble, and you completed your first actual treble crochet. Now in each of these little clusters, they are called treble clusters, you have 3 treble crochets in each one. So we need to do 1 more to complete the first treble crochet, the first treble cluster. So yarn round your hook so it looks like you've got 2 stitches. Put your hook through the center of your chain, yarn around your hook again and pull through. So now you have your 3, your treble. So that's as many stitches as we want for a treble. So now we start taking it back down to the beginning. So you put your yarn around the hook, take your hook through the first 2 stitches, which will leave you with 2 on the hook, and once again yarn round the hook, take it through the last 2 stitches, and you're back to the beginning with a single loop on your hook. So I'll put that down and show you. See, you have your 1, 2, 3 trebles. Your very first chain, which 3 chains which took you up to the next level, and then you've made 2 trebles. Now we need to go and do this section. Now in between the first treble cluster you've just made and the second one you now want to make, you need to make a space for a corner, and in order to do that you simply chain 2. So yarn round the hook, pull through, yarn round the hook, pull through, and that's your chain 2. That will be your first corner. Now we want to make another treble cluster, so that's 3 treble crochets into the center of the ring again. So yarn round the hook, hook into the center of the ring, yarn over the hook and pull through. You have your 3 stitches on the hook. Now you start taking it back down to the beginning. Yarn round the hook, pull through the first 2 stitches on the hook, which will leave you with 2. Yarn around the hook, pull through the last 2 stitches, and you're back to the beginning. Now you need 2 more in order to complete the second treble cluster. So yarn round the hook, hook into the center of the ring, yarn round the hook, pull through, there's your 3 stitches. Back down to the beginning, yarn round the hook, pull through, leaves you with 2 stitches. Once more, yarn round the hook, pull through, you're back to the beginning with 1 stitch on your hook. You see you've made 2 trebles there, 2 treble crochets. So you've almost finished your second treble cluster. So once more, yarn round the hook, into the center, yarn round the hook, pull through. You have your 3 stitches. Back to the beginning, yarn round the hook, pull your hook through the first 2 stitches, and yarn round the hook, pull your hook through the last 2 stitches. You're back to the beginning. You always have that single working loop sitting on your crochet hook. So if we put it down and have a look, and remember mine is looking looser than what you'd see there, because I am trying to use a bigger hook to make it clearer to see on your video. So if we have a look at what we've just made, you've got 2 treble clusters. So that was your first chain 3 and then your first 2 treble crochets. This was your 2 chains in order to make your first corner, and 1, 2, 3 more treble clusters to make 3 more treble crochets to make your second treble cluster. Now that's what you do until you get back to this side. So I'm just going to continue. I might go a little faster now in order to get round to the other side. So we need to make our second corner. We're going to do this section now, so we need to make a second corner first. If you remember, that's chain 2. So 1, 2. So yarn round your hook, hook into the center of the ring, yarn over, pull through. There's your 3 stitches. Back to the beginning, yarn over hook, take through the first 2 stitches on your hook, which will leave you with 2. Yarn over hook, take through the last 2 stitches on your hook, back to the beginning with your single working loop. And you can see that you now have your second corner as well. Yarn over the hook, into the center of the ring, yarn over, pull through. Back to the beginning, yarn over the hook, pull through, yarn over the hook once more, back to the beginning. So there's your second treble crochet of your third cluster. Last one for the third cluster. And there. You have 3 treble clusters and a total of 9 trebles altogether. So we want another corner, which is chain 2, 1, 2, and we do the last 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, 3. And there you have your 4 treble clusters. See, with the 2 chains in each corner, how it is forming the square that you want. Now you finish slightly differently. Instead of a 2 chain, and there are many different ways of doing this, I'm just showing you my way, you do 1 chain. Now in order to finish, you're now going to do a double crochet into the 3rd chain of the very first chain 3 that you did when you started the square. So this is the very first chain 3 that you did when you started. You're back to the beginning. There's the first chain, there's the 2nd chain, there's the 3rd chain. And that's where you're going to now do a double crochet. Now for a double crochet, this is slightly easier than a treble. You don't put your yarn round the hook first. You just put the hook straight under the 3rd chain. There we are. Now see? You've put it under the 3rd chain, and if you remember in a previous video, underneath every chain is a single thread of yarn which looks like that. So you put it in between. And then you put your yarn over the hook, pull it through. So you've got 2 stitches, hence the word double in double crochet. And to go back to the beginning, you put your yarn over hook, pull through, and there you are, back to the beginning. Now, the reason you do a double crochet at the end, you might, if you're slightly more experienced, or once you get your experience, wonder why it isn't a slip stitch. I find the double crochet is easier to do at this stage because it gives you a little platform for when you go up to the next row to do your first treble cluster, which is what I'll be showing you in the next video. So you have completed your first round of a granny square, and you can see how the chain, the very first ring of chains that we did, is now hidden under all those lovely treble crochets. And you have your 4 corners, which is your 2 chains in between, until you get to the final one, which was 1 chain, and then you did a double crochet into the 3rd chain of the very first chain 3 that you started the row with. So come back tomorrow and I'll show you how to do the next row. Thank you very much for watching Susie Makes. Your feedback is much appreciated.